Hey gang, Mocha Boy here. Welcome back, and as always, thanks for tuning back in. Yeah, going to be reaching into the Reddit inbox, and I put that question out there. What did you guys want to see? One of the requests that came back, this came in from MJDevil, and he's looking for some tips and tricks around organization and execution on prep and battle day for Clan Wars. Now, this is a very deep subject, so we're not going to be able to cover everything in super detail, but I wanted to kind of talk at a kind of a high level, just to give everyone a sense for some of the tools that we run and some of the decisions that we make. Now, before we talk about any of the specifics around planning and execution, I want to make sure that everyone understands we have to be talking on the same level and the same level of capability. And that's a very important thing to note, because just because I share some of these tips and tricks with you doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to execute on a lot of these things. There's this whole other aspect of clan development that if you've ignored it up until now, you're going to have to focus on that before you even get to the stage where you can plan and execute some of these more complex assignments and attacks and strategies. I say that because we all run in with 20 and above heroes. Anyone on the board can hit anyone else on the board, and that includes Town Hall 9s hitting Town Hall 10s when needed. That kind of thing. If you don't have a group of members that are comfortable hitting, across the aisle, up the tree, down the tree, hitting high, and even out of their bracket, that's something that you got to focus on first before you even get to some of the more advanced stuff. So just something to consider there, and something to add to the pile of things that as a clan leader you're probably going to have to look at as you're going through your clan war, clan war progression. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the tools. So one of the first tools on the list is Clash Caller, and you've heard me mention Clash Caller in the past before. It's a simple reservation system, but over the years, the creator of the app has gone in and added a lot of very useful things. So we're going to take a look at some of those features, and we'll actually take a look at a live war right now, so that you can see how we use it. The thing to note about Clash Caller is that there are 3 different ways that you can do notifications here. You can leave a comment, and this is as simple as hey, I noticed the CC went from 0 to 30, something like that. Or this is where you as an attack planner, this is where you're going to live. You can come in here and you can leave notes for the prospective hitters to say, this base is weak to air, this base is weak to Valks, this base is weak to Hogs. Use this to communicate that kind of stuff to your to the rest of the attackers. After that, you can as an attacker, all you have to do is just hit the plus sign, drop your name in there, and you've called that target. Sometimes you can set timers on here. I think we set short timers, but yeah, not too crazy of a thing there. Now the other really cool thing here is that once an attack goes through, you can actually review the attack. If you're one of those guys who are tasked with improving your clanmates' abilities and skills, this is one of the key places where you can do that. Now me, I'm kind of lazy. I just use the notes section, and I just say Mocha, watch out for funnels. And we get a kind of a thread going on. So that's what we use for Clash Caller. Now as far as target selection, we'll talk about that a little bit later, and we'll actually look at one of our live wars right now, so that I can give you a sense for how we apportion some of the attacks. Now as far as target selection is concerned, again, this is an extremely deep subject. Kind of the top level of what we try to do here is, we try to do the most we can to incur as many fresh 3-star hits as possible. And if we can't do a fresh 3-star hit, that we're getting as much scout information as we possibly can. And a lot of this has to do with how you assess the bases. Did you assess the bases correctly? Did you try to send ground troops against a base that was set to defend against air, and vice versa? And what'll end up happening is, the more fresh 3-stars that you get on the front end, the more scout attacks you'll have on the back end, to be able to give you a higher percentage opportunity to go in and either 2-star or 3-star, an equal base, or 2-star a higher base. That's really all it boils down to, is how many cleanup attacks. Now as far as cleanup attacks, we tend to classify them in a couple of different ways. 9 versus 9s, the expectation is that if you're a Town Hall 9 that you can 3-star at least, across the aisle, and in some cases even higher. And in the case of folks that have, chosen to go like a 0.5 route, that's one of the things that they're capable of doing. So somebody down in the number 25 position could hit, the top Town Hall 9. Those are extremely valuable attacks, and if you have 0.5s or engineered bases in your roster, you want to make sure that you're saving those guys. Those are your heavy hitters. You want to send in the people who are maybe not as skilled, or maybe have a lighter who have a lighter skill set, or maybe not as versed in all of the different styles. You want to send those guys in first to make sure that they're getting as much scout information for the heavy hitters to come in and clean up the bases. And it's important that you coordinate these attacks. Don't hit a base don't hit one base 7 different ways. Have one person select, have one or a team of people select what that what that base should be hit by, either air or ground, and then whoever's attacking, make sure that you're building on those attacks to finally end up with a 3-star. And as you can see here, we average something on the order of like 10 or 12 fresh 3-star hits, but a lot of times, more than half of the bases, will incur 2, 3, even 4 revisits. So it's not uncommon. Now, as far as classifying the higher bases, Town Hall 10s, if we're in a really tough war and we're matched, we're outmatched, at least in terms of Town Hall levels, one of the first things that we'll try to do is we'll try to take the Town Hall 10s and see if we can, if we have options to 2-star the Town Hall 11s. What that gives us the option to do is to take our Town Hall 11s and nuke lower. So we can take a Town Hall 11 and have a very good chance at 3-starring one of the Town Hall 10s. And with a lot of the strategies that we have, that's one of the things that we absolutely can do. So TH9s hitting TH10s for 2 stars, TH10s hitting TH11s for 2 stars. And of course, from a strategic perspective, that's stuff that we can talk about later. But generally speaking, you want to go in with graduated attacks, at least in terms of skill, so that the least skilled people go in first. Like, the last thing you want is for a person who's new to the clan, who's still learning the tactics and strategies, to attack last. Maybe that would be fine if you're trying to train them up and you're saving attacks for them, but mostly speaking, you want to use those types of attacks early on to provide scout information for your heavy hitters later on. Now, so that's kind of the top level with how we do target assignment, and how we try to make sure that we're leveraging our skill sets in the proper way. It's not always going to be possible. People's schedules vary, but the marching orders that we give the clan are, if you're or not so confident with your abilities, that it's okay to hit early. Because if you really want to add value to the clan and our effort, you can do so by going in and scouting a base properly for the next person to come along. There's no shame in that, and it's actually a very useful skill to be able to plan and hit bases fresh, with no scout information. So something to consider there. Now, as far as GroupMe is concerned, nothing too crazy here. Every clan's going to do this a little differently, but generally speaking, what we see as a theme is that people will run a general channel for all members, one for leadership, potentially one for base building, and then one that they'll call the quote-unquote war room, where all attack plans get posted into, and then it's usually just a couple of people's responsibility to go in there and provide feedback for plans. It's the thing that you have to note about war plans is that we're not looking for you to plan out a 72-step process. We joke that it's a 72-step process because sometimes that actually ends up being the case, but generally speaking, we want people to spend about at least 30 or 40 minutes looking at the base, looking at things like ranges, targeting ranges for the different defenses, planning out your wall breaker executions, things like that. These are very easy things. The thing to note about the way that these plans, or the way that these executions work, is that they rarely ever work the way you want them to. Sometimes they do, which is great, but generally speaking, something almost always goes wrong at least 5 or 6 steps in. And if you have planned it or rehearsed in your head, a script that's 20 executions deep, and then something goes wrong 5 steps in, you're screwed. So you really have to get into the habit of being able to split up your attack into 2 or 3 different phases, something that your brain can wrap around, and learn to execute and then watch. and then adjust if you need to. And that's one of the things that the Red Force Academies teach, and that's how to adjust on the fly. Maybe your AQ goes north instead of south. What do you do? Or maybe one too many hogs, or your hogs didn't trip off that double giant bomb. What do you do? So you've got to be able to call audibles, and the plans that we look for are generally just skeletal frameworks. We're not looking for every step. We're just looking for a general idea, and we know, at least from prior scout attempts, which sides of the base that people should focus on, and then that's what will keep people in on attacking. So we know if like a Tesla farm is up in the northwest here, we'll say send your kill team in from the northwest, and then try to march towards the to the Archer Queen. Or those air defenses are probably you might be able to take down all those air defenses, and then back end La Lune or back end Lune the base. So things like that. Just 30 minutes, nothing too crazy. Use whatever drawing applications you have. These are done in Skitch, but as you know, Skitch is probably getting discontinued. I did play in Evernote the other day, and I noticed that you still can do some of the things that you can do in Skitch in Evernote. And of course, just like any good application company would do, they took that most useful application, or the most useful portion of that application, and they buried it 10 levels deep within Evernote. So it's still there, but you got to dig for it, and it's just a big mess. Whatever. Anyway, that's that. Now the other thing that I wanted to note about GroupMe, and this is something that we do that I think is pretty cool, is that we run, and don't kill me for this, we run a bot, and this is something that's available for anyone that runs GroupMe, but this isn't the type of bot that that is mentioned in the same vein as third-party applications. This is a simple helper bot, and our bot is programmed to do a couple of different things. So if I just type in commands, if I type in commands, you can see all of the different things that we use this for, and a lot of this is just reference information. What are the rules? One of the ones that we use almost religiously is, of course, CC. So if you just do /cc, this is what happens. Oops, sorry. If you do /cc, then we get the Clash caller link. That way, we're not plugging that type of conversation into clan chat. And we also have a Discord channel. Oops, I spelled that wrong. We also have a Discord channel, so there's a link to go out to that. And Discord's just for if you needed to get people in a room and actually start discussing or walking people through a live attack. That's something that we've done in the past, where if somebody wasn't sure, they would attack, we would watch in Discord, and then we would watch in game, but then we would respond over Discord in near real time. So some very cool stuff there. And if you're running GroupMe, definitely take a look at this bot. I'm not 100% sure where it originated from, but it's extremely useful. Every war, the mods go in and set up the bots with things like our Clash caller information, and then some other stuff. And there's some other fun stuff that is in here, like GIF. Yeah, there's just like a random Jiffy. A Jiffy retriever, so you can just say GIF whatever, and then just get some fun GIFs, fun animated GIFs there. So it's fun stuff there. So yeah, that is GroupMe. So putting that all together and taking a look at an existing war that we've got. We're up against a really, really good clan. These guys have engineered war bases. They've got a bunch of .5s. They came in strong, and they've been playing strong throughout the entire war. And this is what happens when you run. When you get to that kind of 10 win streak threshold, you start going up against extremely skillful clans. So I would say they probably had a couple .5 advantage on us, and we definitely have had trouble converting on some of the lower Town Hall 9s for 3 stars. And as far as what we have left, we've got about 4 nuke attacks. So TH10, TH10, TH10. We're waiting to see how the rest of the attacks come in. In a lot of cases, you're not even going to know what the last nuke attacks will do. They may save those attacks for the last 5 minutes. Generally speaking, we don't wait till the last hour to attack. I mean, if it's something that we feel confident about, then when the person is ready to go, they just go. We try not to save attacks for those clutch last minute attacks. It's not fun. It can be fun. depending on who the attacker is. But generally speaking, the guidance that I give people is that that is not the person that you ever want to be. You don't ever want to be the last person in the clan who has to attack for the win, because if you win, yeah, people will probably remember, but if you lose, I guarantee you no one will ever forget. And I mean, it's not a terrible thing. Generally speaking, here we say that if we do lose, in a lot of cases, it's because we mismanaged the attacks, or we just could not convert in the areas that we needed to convert in. And you know what? It happens. We have bad wars. There's no shame in that. Everybody does the best that they can, and that's all that we can really ask. I know that with the top war clans, if you miss an attack, or if you just come in with a shitty attack, you probably get booted after the first attack. But generally speaking, here we try to work with everybody, at least the folks that are teachable and are responsible. For the folks that want to stay here and learn, we will work with them, and we will do what we can to soak up attacks, or to kind of fill the gap between their attacks, and where we need to be. So just a quick scan of the war log. I mean, I don't do this to brag, but this is a nice war log. It's nice to see green after there was a period of time in Reddit Force's history when this was nothing but blood red. So to be able to see this much green is always great. And we've been up against some incredible clans. We've been in a few wars where we were completely outmatched. Double the amount of Town Hall 10s, double the amount of Town Hall 11s, engineered bases. I mean, just the worst of every possible scenario. And those guys took away the win. But you know what? Over the course of the last 50 wars, we generally average somewhere in the 90 to 95% for total destruction. And we've even had a couple of perfect wars. Somewhere down the line here, we had a perfect war. But yeah, there it is. So Reddit Force against India. We're still working on that high-level 3-star game, and now that Valks are in the mix, we definitely have the tools and the ability to do that. So at least a little bit of balance has come back into the game, and especially now that everybody's playing on a level playing field, which is one of the most exciting things that's happened in the game in a long time. So that's about it. If you guys have any specific questions about how, or if there was anything that I missed, just drop it in the comments below, and I'll see what I can do to get an answer out to you. But yeah, stay tuned for more. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming your way. I'm recording this stuff as fast as I can, and I will get it out onto the channel as soon as I can. So until then, take care, and I'll see you on the next episode.